How's it going, everyone? Jay Falconio with another episode of Remco Real Talk. On today's episode, we have Nicholas Whitelock, wholesaler, flipper, hard money lender, and soon to be New Jersey congressman. Let's get started. All right, we are here at Sweet Recording Studio. Jay Falconio from Remco Real Talk, Remco Insurance Services, here with a good buddy of mine, Nick Whitelock.
Yes, sir.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me, buddy.
Absolutely. It's going to be a pleasure. Let the world know, what is Nick up to right now? Tell the story.
What is Nick up to, man? I'm always changing things. Main thing I'm focused on right now is still flipping houses. Been doing that for about 2 years now. And as of a couple months ago, I actually got into the lending game. So I am now doing hard money. My company can do retail mortgages too, but that's not what my focus is. I'm sticking to what I know, and that's flipping houses. So I'm helping other investors out there get loans. We do normal bridge loans. We do refis. We do new construction. Pretty much anything that's in that realm we can handle.
And I saw on social a couple of days ago, you've been posting a lot about Gap.
Yes.
So tell a little bit about that, because I still don't even know what that is.
A lot of people don't.
Yeah.
Even investors who've been in the game for a while are like, what the hell is gap funding?
Mm-hmm.
Also called gator funding too. I forget why it's called. I heard the definition before, but I think something to do with like a gator snout is like small, because gap funding is supposed to be like for a short amount of time.
Sure.
So essentially, when a lot of these people get hard money loans, you still have to put money down. Now, obviously, it's not a lot. That's why you're using the hard money lender.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, you're going to have to put 10% down. The lender will cover 90. So that gap funding is usually the amount of money you need for the down payment.
Makes sense.
So a lot of people that are in this game are not always liquid. Even your biggest investors sometimes are just constantly making their profits and putting it right back out there.
Yeah.
So they need people like gap funders to cover their down payment. Usually they offer some kind of return on the money. I usually do like a flat 15%. Some people might give away equity. Some people are around 10. Some people will do more if they're desperate, but essentially just a way to get someone else involved. Usually the people who invest in me are friends of mine who want to get their money moving. They want to be in real estate, but unfortunately don't really have the time to do it. So they invest with me. Usually it's about a 3 to 4 month turnaround. They'll make 15% in their money.
Oh, wow.
And most people I work with usually end up just running them back a couple times.
How about that?
It's nice.
So there's lots of versatility there.
Yeah. I mean, either you're an investor that has some money to play with and you want to invest it, or like I said, you're on the outside with some cash and you're like, I mean, even the best year in the stock market, you're looking at 10%, 8% maybe. You're getting 15% in 4 months. You do that 3 times. That's a nice little side hustle. You're probably making maybe an extra $20K for yourself.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've seen the post this past week, and I was like, I was waiting for today to bring it up, and that's very interesting. Kind of similar. There's a product in insurance called Gap Insurance, which is kind of like a short period of time.
I think it's pretty similar,
but
right?
But the ways that you can kind of do it on the mortgage side or the LO side or the funding side, the real estate side is very different.
Mm-hmm.
So are you picking close, like friends of yours, like close buddies and stuff for a reason? Because I guess it's more of like an intimate loan, right?
For myself, yeah. Mostly everyone I've worked with has been someone I've known pretty well. Yeah. So there's a trust factor there.
Absolutely.
But since I've been posting about it, people have been reaching out left and right. So it just seems like a lot of people, I think I'm finding a lot of people right now are just stacking cash. Whether it's a real estate related person or not, I think a lot of us have this belief that things are weird right now. You know what I mean? On a macro level, that's across the world. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of people are just like, I'm going to hold on to some cash and we're going to see.
Never know.
Like November plays a big part, the election. Who knows if we're going to be in like World War III in a few months.
I've already started to stash some rolls.
Right. I think
rolls of hundreds in my couch.
If you're being smart right now, go the Italian method. Put the money into the bed. Yeah. I don't blame anyone. I'm kind of in the same boat. Once I get liquid here, I think I'm just going to try to stay pretty cash heavy. I usually like to reinvest it right away, but I do think there's some weird times coming, and unfortunately with weird times, it does present a lot of opportunity. So
cash is king.
Cash is king.
Cash is king.
We're heading towards a time where the real estate market's going to have to switch eventually. Like it's been so, sell dominant for the last 3 years. Like eventually we're going to have some kind of crash. It's not like I'm rooting for it, but like it'll be healthy. You can't just keep going up. You have to come down eventually.
I agree.
And then outside of that, you have a lot of boomers who are retiring or / dying off. They all have businesses and they're going to be selling their businesses. So you're going to have a lot of that too. There's going to be a lot of opportunity coming, I think, in the next 2 to 3 years. People are going to cash out. They're tired of whatever current America is, especially if you live in New Jersey. I mean, I still think it's the best state in America, but I'm biased.
I'm with you.
Outside of that, though, a lot of these people around here, it's gotten expensive, and that's on a macro level too. So people are like, I'm out, I'm going to Florida, Texas, whatever. Here's my business. Someone buy from me. So
absolutely.
I think a lot of people are stacking cash for that. But on the same time, that means they got some cash. If it's a 3 to 4 month deal, that's cool. That's why people like it. It's not a long term. You got to wait 8 to 9 months.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't always work out to be 3 to 4 months, but you'll still get your money. You can always add more interest on top. So
And
you have
good
protections.
good for you to actually look at it like a 360 approach. I know, like, and you and I share the same connections with most of them, but like, how many people dropped out of the LO industry in the past like 2 years just
Right.
because like
Agents too.
and agents,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. So like your ability to kind of look at it and like kind of plan for the future and navigate those waters. I mean, you've had a good chunk of experience kind of learning from other people in the industry, but you've also kind of done things your route as well and tried and true, like, tested certain things, and that's how you really learn. So, maybe take us back to like when you got into this. Like, what was like the reason that you got involved in real estate in general, and do you feel like it's going to be your forever? Like, it's going to be a part of your life forever?
That's a good question. I
Yeah.
was actually going to bring it up today. So it's a funny story, actually. I think around like 2020, 2019, I was interested in getting into real estate. Was not something I grew up wanting to get into. I think most people like me are not like, you're usually not 16 being like, I want to be a real estate agent.
No.
It's not a thing.
No.
And if they are, they're lying. Around like 2019, 20, I was like, all right, I'm gonna get my real estate license. I didn't know I wanted to get into flipping, but I obviously knew nothing about it. So I was like, I'll start with the license. Let's see what that's about, right?
Sure.
I took the classes, and the second week of class, COVID hit. So I was like, I kind of took it as a sign. I was like, all right, maybe this isn't the right time yet. So I never decided to go back and get my license. But fast forward about 9 months later, I'm renting a house in Oakland, and I go to hit up the landlord at the time. And I was like, hey, you have any interest in selling? I'm living with 4 other people. It'd be perfect for me. They could pay off my mortgage. Like, it'd be a great scenario. And this was Santini Lancioni, obviously a lot of people do.
Yep.
So I went, we didn't know each other at all. At that point, anytime I talked to them, it was the property manager. Her name is Steph. She was also great. But we go meet in person, and we end up talking for 2.5 hours. I was just there to see if I could buy it. Next thing I know, we're bonding, talking about life. We went to the same high school.
Very cool.
We both worked for WB Mason, so we had a lot of similarities. He could just tell
Everyone worked for WB Mason
it's very
in this network. Yeah,
that and ADP. That was like the most popular jobs out of college.
Starting to learn that.
Yeah, it's like, and then you always go into something bigger after that. It's kind of,
Sure.
they're like gateway jobs, essentially.
100%.
So we started talking for 2.5 hours, and he convinced me to come work for him. And I went to work for him, and he had an REI at the time. I mean, he still does. And I was on the wholesaling side, so I learned wholesaling, but he also taught me the entire game, how to raise capital, how to flip a house, how to find a house, how to sell it. So from there, it just like, I fell in love with it. It was very cool thing about real estate. Like, even if you're doing a 9 to 5 in real estate, you still have a lot of freedom. Like, it's a very entrepreneurial job. Like most jobs, in real estate, you're a 1099. So like, people forget, like, they always say they have a boss, but like, technically you don't.
I know
like, you're your own boss. Yeah, you're your own boss. You're your own business.
Yeah.
You might have an overseer per se, but like, you are your own person. So I worked there for a year with him. I loved it. I just kind of knew we kind of grew past each other. Like, I'm an entrepreneur guy. Like, I kind of wanted to be him. So it's kind of hard to work for someone that you kind of want to, you know what I mean? Like,
good for you for recognizing it.
We both did.
And
He
good for you. I know
yeah.
you guys have a stronger than ever relationship. And,
yeah. He's a great friend and like a mentor to me.
I know what you mean, though. I know what you mean, where it's like you have put two entrepreneurs in a small room and only one's coming out alive.
You can't have 2 wolves in the hen house.
No. There you go. Bro. So, and to your point, I also have to mention the 1099s, because like, it reminds me so much of insurance agents who, most agencies offer some form of, base comp, and then there's commission involved. Right. And then some agencies just offer commission. And these are 1099 employees asking if they have off for federal holidays. And I'm bringing this up, and this is pretty straightforward. Like, this is kind of where it's going to be very straight. It's like, do you want to make money?
Right.
Like, do you want to make money? Like,
wait, so most of them are 1099s insurance or what?
The old school method is that a lot of agents used to only be 1099s.
Okay.
Now, 2000 came
I
around,
know that
2010.
actually,
Yeah. A lot of agents were 1099s, and a lot of, agents were subs that kind of were under a larger GA or general agent's umbrella. But I would say that now the norm is that, most reputable agencies have them as full-time employees.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And then they build a commission structure.
The benefit part of it is very enticing for a lot of people, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You bring up so many good points with health insurance, where that's became such a big factor. And I think also, I mean, my opinion, I mean, you'll like this, like Boiler Room, like Glenn and Gary Glenn Ross, and all the old school sales movies. Like, it was different back then.
Yeah.
If you didn't sell, you didn't eat, And I think that, as we continue to kind of grow through the financial industry, things got a little different from a lot of parts. So I would say that most insurance agencies, there's some form of base, and then there's a commission structure. But the agencies that are most successful, the agents that are most successful,
Mhm.
I would say that 70 to 80% of their money that they're taking home is coming from their commission.
Right.
If it's the other way
100%,
around,
yeah,
if
yeah.
it's the other way around, you bring that up and, you bring up like, days off and holidays and stuff like that. It's like, you're your own boss
If
at
you
the end of the day.
if
Like
you
you're,
have a commission job, unless it's like 6-figure salary, it's usually like you're not eating unless you're selling.
yeah,
Especially with the very expensive America we live in now. It's like
correct.
that base ain't covering shit.
So you bring up a good point in terms of like you and Santini kind of having that entrepreneur mentality, and you kind of, went your separate ways, are still tight. But that 1099, like you really can do real estate, but you're still kind of like, you're the one who's holding yourself accountable.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And people don't realize if you're smart about it, whether you figure it out on your own or have a good accountant, being a 1099 means I like halfway through working for him, I opened up an LLC.
Yep.
So I was building credit there, ended up getting a credit card. It was like, all right, I had write-offs. It was like, dude, this is pretty cool. You said, is this my passion? Is this my end all be all? It is not.
Oh boy. Drum roll.
Yeah, right. No, I love this game, but I actually really hate a lot of people in it, which sucks. A lot of people in this industry are just scumbags and fake and materialistic, and it's not something I want to be in for life. But I also realize, flipping wise at least, and rentals down the road, once you learn this game, you can do it part-time. Like I don't lift a hammer, so it's like I don't need to be on site every day. It's good to be. It's smart to be.
I'm glad
like,
you don't lift a hammer.
Yeah. Also, the house would fall apart in seconds. Yeah. And your insurance rates would be through the roof. You making so much money off me. I feel like such less of a man that I can't. I'm so unhandy.
I'm with you, dude.
God, it makes me feel a little better.
Yeah. TaskRabbit is the most actively used app on my phone.
People that
literally don't even know how to hang a mirror.
Right. It's where people don't know me and they're like, "Oh, what do you do?" And I'm like, "I've never lifted the hammer." And I'm just like,
I flipped 14 houses, but I don't even know how to use a hammer.
I feel like such less of a man.
I don't mean to take you off this.
No,
but go on.
I have so many blue collar friends too. I'm just like, I'm such a I'm such a what. Anyway, you learn that this game, like you can do this part time. So I'll always be in real estate the rest of my life. I definitely want to keep flipping, getting rentals, maybe Airbnbs down the road, you name it. So that part's cool. But no, I can like pretty definitively say like this isn't my end all be all. You know what I mean? There's definitely people in this game where they're in it for life, but like I'm definitely not one. Full time at least, yeah.
Understood.
I've got other things that I like. Like you, I'm very entrepreneurial. I want to be in as many things as possible. I would love to have like a full timer, whether it's a business I start or even if I'm working for someone else, as long as it's good pay, and also do flipping on the side. Yeah. That's kind of how I feel about it. Right now it's full time and I will be for a little bit until I figure out my next step. But yeah, no, it's not my true passion.
Good for you to realize that. How many people go through, life just doing one thing, even though they know that they're not, there's more, I guess, out there for like, there's
100%.
There's a lot more meat on the bone for you. I know you got a lot of other projects working on. Yeah. And I think, too, like, maybe you can agree, but I get bored easily.
Same. That's why I said that.
I get bored easily. It's like, all right, we're doing insurance now, but like, why aren't we doing this product? I mean, there's so much in insurance that I think, shout out to all my other insurance agents out there. Like, we do mainly business insurance.
Right.
We meet a couple agents who do home and auto really well. They joined the team. Now I want to be that.
Yeah.
What about health insurance, life insurance, Medicare, IULs?
Me and you have the shiny object syndrome.
I'm like, yeah. And insurance, it's like, ooh, like a squirrel looking for his, the next acorn. It's like, ooh, let's go there. So,
what about you? You sold one company. Now you're insurance.
Yeah.
Is this going to be your end all be all?
This right now is. However, I would now this is my focus, and I'm glad you brought that up. But real estate will always be an interest of mine.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
But have you done anything in real estate?
We've done a few short-term rentals.
Okay. I didn't even know that.
Assisting with some of my buddies out in the Pocono area.
Oh, nice.
Airbnb properties, stuff like that. I think, like you said, no 16-year-old when we first got on here wants to get into real estate. I think it's like that was the best thing you could have done because normally it's like that.
Also, no 16-year-old wants to get into insurance either.
Not many.
Not many people are like, I'd love to be in insurance, man.
We got Matt, the intern from Temple. He wants to be in insurance.
Yeah, but he's in college. He probably wasn't in high school being like, insurance, that's it. That's what I want to do.
I don't know. It's a good industry.
Maybe you're right. I don't know.
I think my point is like when people are successful in one industry, they have a little bit of money saved up and then they want to know what's next. Real estate is always like that gateway.
Yeah.
Like that's always going to be available. And that's pretty much the best way that you can, continue to make more money for yourself and others. I mean, it's not going out of style.
Tax depreciation, making money, stacking cash somewhere to have it not be taxed. Yeah. Every rich person in the world does real estate to one degree or another. It's 100%. Like 90% of millionaires have some kind of real estate portfolio.
That was the statistic that I was looking for. And that's exactly on the money. So I feel like you got into it early, which is different. But I think that being different and timely is probably the best thing ever in any type of business.
And to be a flipper right now, this has been like the hottest buying market in the history
Tell
of
us about that. Like what's that been like on your end?
Dude, it's bananas. So I obviously can't talk about before that. Like I paid attention to real estate, but nothing like this. So it's like, I didn't know. I can only talk to other people that were like around 20, 15 years ago. But if you do a good job and it's priced right,
Mhm.
you're getting like 50 offers in 2 days.
Wow.
It's insane. It makes no sense. It doesn't sound healthy. It's great for us, the sellers, but like it's insanity to think about. Like some of these houses in towns that like I grew up around, like Mount Ephraim, Audubon. When I went to high school in that area, like 14 years ago, they were nice towns, nothing crazy. I feel like their houses were like 200. Now they're like 350, 400.
So you're doing very minimal to attract the interest.
Yeah, no, you don't have to do a lot.
You don't have to do any marketing.
Even the houses that aren't that great are selling quick. It's just we don't have inventory, and there's way more buyers than there is sellers. So like every good house is going to have multiple offers. The 50 might be a little extreme, but it does happen sometimes.
Okay.
But you're probably getting like a good 5 to 10 offers on every good house.
Wow.
Now, once they get above 500K, the pool of buyers is smaller.
Okay.
So you're not going to have as many offers, obviously. But like if you do a sick house from like 250 to 400, you're going to have a lot of buyers because you're going to have a lot of first-time buyers, conventional people that have cash. And you got to realize with the rates, which by the way, aren't bad. Stop freaking out about them. The most annoying thing in the world, people thinking the rates are bad. They're not. Shut up. If you can afford the house, buy it. It's all relative to your life.
Sure.
Who cares about the rates?
Sure.
If you think they're going to go back to COVID rates, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
That was a 100-year pandemic. You're never going that low again.
Yeah.
Stop being a moron. Like if you can afford the house, buy it. You can always refi down the road. All right.
Sure.
Get that out of the way.
All right.
What the hell were we just talking about?
We were just talking about
fired up there.
I'm over here. I'm ready to run through a wall.
It's the dumbest thing ever.
Like, no.
My parents bought a house in 97. I think it was like a 9 rate back then.
I think we were mentioning the market and it being so hot.
Oh, right.
And
So,
you kind of seen that. But I think, so you answered a lot of the questions right there. I guess the resources too, right? Like how important are the resources to get, because the margins, right? Like you mentioned all these homes, there's not enough buyers.
Well, us, the investors are overspending.
There's not enough inventory, excuse me, not enough inventory, all the buyers.
And it starts with us first because we're all competing with each other to get these houses. And what used to be maybe a 200K house, now you got to buy for 240.
Right.
And then you're like, well, I hope I get over asking.
Right.
You should never go into it with a business plan with, I hope I get.
Do me a solid. I bet you can. I know you can do this because I've attended a few like of your seminars too, by the way, which I think is great. Like you also provide value to the new home, but you do the first time buyer seminars, and I've attended a few of those. And break down from top to bottom. Like, what are the things that you factor in in terms of like a return on investment at the end of all this? Like all the things. Like tell the listeners like all the things that factor into you doing this and getting to the bottom.
Right.
So
I try to keep it pretty simple. When I go into a flip, after I run all my numbers, I just want to try to make around 25, 30. I am not greedy whatsoever.
I'm glad you said that number.
Yeah.
It's like, but think about that. Like all this work and all, like a lot of people think that like you're making like larger numbers than that, but there's a lot of work.
No.
There's, you know what I mean? I think and
they think that because they see people online posting about it.
Exactly. I wanted to try to
here to let you know right now, most people that are posting are frauding. There's not a lot of people that are making the money you think they are.
So you're saying at the end of a flip, 25 to 30 is like where you're at.
Yeah. And that's a great flip to me.
Okay.
Do that 10 times in a year, that's 300K. That's a pretty goddamn good life.
And you were like, I know my numbers. So that's the other thing. Like,
you go
numbers.
in, I have calculators, but like I can just do it quickly on my phone too. Like, all right, I'm getting it for this. I can walk the house now and be like, it needs 60. Commissions are 5%. And then you add another 2% for selling costs. So you're, say it's 100K, we put in 150, it's worth 300. We're going to do 300 times 0.07, take away commissions and closing costs, and then how much we put into the house, and then whatever left over is our profit.
Love it.
I don't look at like, what's my capital gain, nothing. I just do the basic, what's my profit going to be?
Yeah.
And like I said, my goal was 25, 30. Can you make more? Sure. Can you make less? Yeah, been there before. Yeah. My last 5 months have been pretty rough, actually. I'm not afraid to admit it. Most people will get on social media and only show their wins.
Right.
I've had some losses recently, dude. It's a part of the game. It was weird. I started out hot. I kind of had beginner's luck, I guess, and then recently,
like the Phillies.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they're still hot. They
no, I know.
Yeah.
But they're
going for the sweep today, baby. Ranger.
Yeah.
But yeah, I started out hot. Yeah. And I think I got a little too big for my britches. Ego got a little big. Got too confident.
Well, with that being said, you can resonate with so many other people who won't publicly admit that. Yeah. So I think maybe you saying that, but maybe you saying that you're going to be like a pioneer for that person to maybe talk through, and also that's you learned wisdom in that, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
as long as if you're going to take a loss, it sucks. As long as you can walk away with some knowledge and experience from that, and don't make the mistake again, then it's worth it.
I wonder
But
if you should put it like one of those learning seminars you do. It's like, here's everything not to do.
I would
Here's
love
everything
to.
I did
Yeah.
wrong.
Because I'm disgustingly transparent just in general.
I
in
know.
life.
It's like-
Girlfriends, friends, parents, you name it. I don't care. I would love to because I could.
Attend my
I was
seminar.
told that info to not do what I
Attend
did.
my seminar.
Yeah.
And for an hour, we're going to talk about all the things that I messed up.
Right. I'll do life too. I'd be like, don't.
Yeah, I know.
I'm like, don't gamble on the Eagles in Super Bowl. That's a bad idea. They're probably gonna lose.
That's my takeaway.
Mhm.
Nah, but good for you, man. I mean, like you're very honest. You're an open book. I mean, in all facets of life, I think that America as a whole needs honesty, needs transparency.
Bad dude. Yeah.
You know,
I hate what we've become.
oh,
I still love America more than anything in the world. I cry at national anthems all the time.
you
4th of
are-
July, Memorial Day weekend.
You are a patriot. Yeah.
Dude, even when we're at our worst, it's still the best democracy ever created. You know what I
Right,
mean?
yeah.
Like, no, democracy's never going to be perfect, but we got pretty close to getting it perfect. You know what I mean? Like, the
Absolutely.
Constitution is one of the greatest pen to papers that's ever been created in the history of anything that's been written down. So it's like, this is the best country ever, the best democracy ever. I'll die for this country. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe I'll go to war. I don't know. We might be getting drafted soon. I don't
So
know. Maybe
my real
we will die for
passion.
the country
Yeah,
soon.
I mean,
Yeah.
with
I don't know.
with that being said, like just don't overlook the basic privileges, right? Like you bring up so many good points with like we live in the best country in the world, and,
Right.
and I believe that. I mean, I think sometimes people
Why
think,
would so
oh,
many people
woe
come
is
here
me.
if it wasn't so great? You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're all
Let's be
they're,
honest.
they're
yeah.
all coming here now.
Right.
So, but with that being said, it's like, oh, I'm not having a good day. I'm not having a good week. Like you really have every opportunity in the world. Like so don't take the little things for granted.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. It's the last 4 years been great. Sure. No, I don't think they've been great, but like,
Yeah.
I still wouldn't I wouldn't trade this for anywhere else.
Sure.
Are you kidding me? The freedom that we have, the things that you can do, the opportunities, the schools, the jobs.
Absolutely.
I mean, to our point earlier, it's like there's two things that are true. There's never been so many opportunities for jobs.
Mhm.
You could be a DoorDasher, you could Uber.
That's true.
just
I
even
saw.
little
I met one guy. I told me he made $100,000 one year, and that was his main gig. He did
That's
Uber,
what I'm
he did
saying.
DoorDash, he did Lyft, and on the side, I think he did GoPuff.
Right. That's my point. There's never been so
Yeah.
many opportunities. You can sit on your phone and day trade. You could invest in crypto, bro. You could DoorDash. Like there was just so many stupid ways
I was
to
at
make
the
money.
gym last week, and I
Yeah.
guess it was when that GameStop guy was going to go live, and the kid probably was like 19 or 20, and he's like, he's sweating coming into the gym, calling his mom,
Yeah.
mom, I need you to go into Robinhood, and you send me 450 in the Cash App. He's like, the guy's going to go live,
Oh, he was
and I'm
ready
like,
for
I'm
it.
going.
It actually cracked. The stock went really down when he went live. Actually, yeah.
But it's just funny. It's like that's some young.
Were you
kid.
a part of that? The
I was
original
not.
one?
My buddy Paul. Shout out to Paul. So Paul built our website. Paul's been a good buddy of mine. Paul built all my e-commerce sites for
Nice.
the meal service. Great friend. Played t-ball with him.
Oh.
He's like I've known him all my
That's
life.
That's
And I
an
want to
OG
get
right
in,
there,
I want to
yeah.
get into that too with you because you're really tight with all your buddies and,
Yes.
and you learn how to make money with your buddies and I appreciate that. But Paul, he went in and I think he made a pretty penny. He traveled this past summer. He went to like Egypt and all these places
Right.
on the money that he made just from that.
Really?
trip.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm happy he used the money for that because it was just like the best way to use it.
It was dumb money. as
He's
the movie
big with
says.
Reddit.
Like, all
He's
them-
big with Reddit.
Right.
So he knew it was coming.
So same.
Yeah.
I was on that months before it happened. I found it on Twitter, which can be similar to Reddit in that regard. It was like, oh, this is interesting. I put a little money in here. It was like the run happened from December to the end of January. I was in August. Told one of my other buddies.
Yeah.
I had a total of, I think, only like $2,500 in. It went to 82,000.
Yeah.
And then Robinhood did what they did.
They made a movie about it.
Yeah, Dumb Money. It's a really good
Dumb
movie,
Money. Yeah.
Me and my buddy were a part of it. They pulled it. I went from 82 down to 40. I think I ended up cashing out like 18,000 because Robinhood's absolutely screwed us. The hedgies screwed us. So like
Yeah.
anytime that pops up again, I ride with that because
I learned
I'll
it
never
more-
forget how bad they screwed me at a time where I had a little bit of money, not a lot, and I made $80,000 doing nothing. I was there and I was ready to sell, and then they screwed us.
Yeah, that's
It
a
was the
crazy
most
story.
rigged thing I ever seen in my
It's
entire
a
life.
crazy
Yeah.
story, and then it was a good movie. That's all I know.
That's a
from
great
it.
movie,
I
yeah.
saw it and I was just like, wow, this brought that. To
I
life.
lived every day through. I still remember. I mean, it was only 3 years ago, but I still remember
Yeah.
every day waking up, watching it.
And
go
you know
up
what?
down.
You know how I know Paul was a good friend? He texted me the day because I was so in the dark. He's
Right.
like, "You're gonna have to do this," and I was like, I thought about it, and I was like,
Dude, I was
something
texting
came
people-
up, and I didn't get back to him, and now
Right.
it's like the one text I should have listened to.
I
him.
texted people. I was like, "You are not going to want to miss this." And then I
Yeah.
did have a little bit of redemption. Months later, AMC did the same thing,
right,
and I was able to
right.
make like 28K off that, off of like $3,000,
Yeah.
and then bought a rental property with it. So it is something pretty
So
cool,
this
but
all
yeah.
ties back into flipping and wholesaling and all this stuff.
Yeah, 'cause
but,
that was
to your
wor-
point,
yeah.
you really can make money so many different ways. And we brought it up occasionally. Like I think making money with your friends is really hard. But
Yeah.
it's really, I value it. I value it a lot. It's the price of doing business. I mean, even family, like insurance is one of those things that everyone needs it too.
Right.
So like, I'll bring this to a claims experience. Like, a few of my buddies that we insure, like they had a problem at their personal home. And like, that's when like my sirens go off and I'm like one of the guys he had a kid and he needed to stay at like a local hotel and he needed to have his whole entire place fumigated and new carpets and all this kind of
Jeez,
stuff.
what was it?
It was a water heater breakage.
Okay.
So his water heater broke and his whole entire place was flooded. Him and his daughter couldn't stay there. And it's like, these are the stories where like I'm on the phone as the broker and my agent working with the carrier to get him his check for all the work that was done.
Yep.
The check for the hotel.
Yep.
The check for the food
Mhm.
that he ate in the hotel because he couldn't even use his place. It
Right.
really like goes into like all that, compensation for.
And he had coverage for all
Mold-
that, though, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. He had
But still, it was
he had a
probably
good policy, but it's like, so when it starts to affect somebody's livelihood, that's where like, in my head, they're my friend, they're my family. They bought from us. They're a client,
still
but
run
it's
a
like,
business.
if it were to go wrong, then, I don't sleep at night.
Right.
To your point, like I'm worried. I'm like, oh, like,
Yeah,
this
it
guy
kills
and
me,
his
yeah.
daughter they can't even sleep in their own home because it's being mold remediated. He's going to be
Right.
out of his home for 2 weeks.
And yeah,
And I'm in my bed and I'm
Right,
in my
sound
bed
asleep,
sleeping.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? So it's like,
not to
I
mention
hear you.
nothing with insurance companies usually move that quick. So it's like that's
It's
a
hard.
process. Yeah.
It's hard. But to your point, I'll speak on that just because like, that's just, you have a good heart. It's tough. It's
Right.
tough to do business with friends and family, and sometimes things don't work out in your
And
favor.
it's a great
but-
opportunity. I'm helping myself. They're making money, but it's like
Yeah,
when it doesn't
it'll
hit
work
the
out.
timeline that you want, you're like, man, I feel like a dick.
It'll work out.
Yeah. No, it will. And listen, I would sell my organs. I'll pay. I mean, like,
Yeah, you'll
credit
go.
card companies can screw off. I'll let my credit tank, but my friends, they'll always get their money. I legit will. I will go whore myself to old ladies. I
Oh
do
my
not care.
God,
Yeah.
I heard that's
I-
coming out. That's definitely coming out.
Yeah, that's a good one too. I'll take that clip for myself. I'll post it.
Yeah.
I'll be like, there's some other podcast I went on. But yeah, I will do. I literally do. I'll sell my foot before. Friends
Nah,
are always
that's
getting
good.
payback. To your
That's
point, I'm an only child, so I got the only child syndrome.
Oh.
But growing up, dude, my friends are my family. Like I don't have a big family at all. I have one uncle out in Cali. My brother or my dad's got a brother. He's close by. And like, we're somewhat close. I got one grandpa left. So like family wise, I don't have a lot of people I talk to. So like
Sure.
my friends are my family. I got friends from high school. We're probably like 30 friends from high school. We all still talk. We go
What
out
high
and-
school was that?
Paul VI in Haddonfield, New Jersey.
VI.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great private school. I have friends from grade school. My friend from grade school, 5 years old, just invited me to his wedding the other day. And he's been down in Charleston for 6
I
years.
think that's great.
Yeah, we're still close. You know what I mean? Like,
Paul-
and then when I went to college, a lot of people left high school being like one or two friends.
Yeah.
A lot of people were like, I hated high school. I was like, dude, I loved high school. It was the
Yeah.
most fun ever. I'm still very close with a lot of people.
That's good.
I played sport. What's cool was like I went to Catholic school, played sports in my hometown. My Catholic
Mhm.
school was in a different town when I was in grade school. So I had friends from my hometown, Glassboro.
Mhm.
Then I had friends from grade school. And then I went to Paul VI, and I lived 30 minutes away from Paul VI. So it gave me friends all
Oh.
over South Jersey.
Your radius grew.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, that's
awesome.
cool.
And then I go to Kutztown, which is not far away.
Yeah.
So then I got a ton of friends from there. They all pretty much moved to Philly when they were done
They
there.
did.
So it's like my network is insane.
It's like Kutztown, East Stroudsburg, Bloomsburg.
Yeah. What's funny, when I'm
Westchester,
down in
all
Seattle,
kinda like,
yep.
yeah, I was
When
just
I'm
going to
down in
bring up Seattle. Yeah.
Everyone I meet is PSACs,
yeah.
which is Westchester, East Stroudsburg, Bloomsburg, Kutztown.
What are some of your spots that you've been, hanging out at down there? Like, what are some quintessential? I'm a Wildwood guy, so I don't
Right.
really go.
So
to
I was
Seattle
when I
anymore.
grew up. If you're in New Jersey in your whole life, you go to Wildwood when you're a teen. You go there, you do awful things for 4 or 5 years, and you grow up and be like, I can't go to this town anymore. You move on. Usually we come back later down the road. Wildwood's great though. Wildwood, what it was 15 years ago to what it is now is awesome to see. Like
There's a lot.
they're kind of
change.
they're getting rid of the riffraff. The crest is growing. There are a lot of new buildings, hotels, restaurants. It's cool.
Mhm.
Wildwood's a great town. I always love Seattle though. I don't know why. Seattle just fits who I am to a T. But if you're there, you're gonna go to OD.
Yeah.
You're gonna go to Shenanigans. You're gonna go to Dead Dog. That's the late night spot. Henry's is a great dinner spot. And then the next town over is Avalon. That's Whitebriar and
Yep.
Princeton. They're a
Familiar
great
with that.
time. And I love Margate. I go to Margate a lot too. So
Margaret's cool.
that's
Is OD the place that throws the napkins?
no, that's Dead Dog.
Dead dog.
Yeah.
Who cleans them up?
I guess all the workers. Yeah.
I
I
was
don't know.
like-
I mean, every time I'm there,
I
I'm
see
not.
so many in the
Every
summer.
time I'm there, I'm not sober, and as soon as you throw napkins, I'm off to go home. and
These
go to bed,
summer
so-
months, man, I'm like, it's like any Thursday through Sunday at this point, or any day of the week, I'm like on there, and then I'm looking at all these napkins. I'm like, who's picking these? Let's bring Zach up. So Zach's Nick's roommate. Zach is our newest
And
insurance
my best
agent.
friend for 15 years.
There you go.
Freshman year of football.
There you go. Paul,
Yep.
did you go to Paul VI?
Yeah.
All right, there you go. So shout out to Paul the Sixth
Yep.
for for Zach and Nick, and again, so he was a missing piece.
Rachel Rao, know her?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about Zach.
Paul Six.
We're gonna talk about Zach.
Yep.
So Zach was a missing piece. He brings a lot of energy to the office.
Yep.
He's doing an incredible job. He sold the most home and auto insurance in Remco history.
I was about to say, I heard
his first month.
Yeah.
His first month.
Rookie of the year.
Hey, rookie forever.
MVP, possibly.
Rookie MVP forever. Yeah. So he was a big addition, and I'm happy that Remco can provide him an opportunity to grow and flourish, and he fits in.
Yeah, definitely.
Everyone loves him. So shout out to Zach and shout out to Nick and his network and anytime I met you guys at the events, and that's where I guess I probably met you when you were still kind of like working with Santini. This was like 3 years ago.
I'm trying to think when we first met. I feel like I was not with him, maybe. Might have been right. I just left.
Right at the end.
So I've known you for a couple of years now. You're right. Yeah.
It's been 3 years since I knew Brendan.
Okay. He was first. Well,
but I met you guys at the same time.
Brendan's a newer friend for me too. Even though he's like a brother, we got super close. But like,
I didn't know that.
I didn't meet Brendan till I met his sister Marissa first at Triple Play, and I think that was 2022.
Yeah.
And then what's funny is we didn't meet till months later, but like me and him just clicked right away. It was crazy. Yeah. He's like, everyone that meets us is like, you guys been friends forever. It's like, honestly, we've been friends for 2 years.
I talk to a lot of people who think that they've known him for a while. That's
right. He's that type of guy. Yeah. But what's funny is we known each other for 2 years.
You both were actively involved in the networking events, and you guys draw a lot of attention. Like you guys are good networkers. That's
alpha males is what's
well, we talked last episode.
No betas.
Last episode on his we talked about. I called him a business development expert.
Right.
And like we like went through some networking events.
He's really good at that.
Where we I have some of his business cards in this pocket. I have some of mine, but like he works the room, and like it's almost like
he's more outgoing than I am, honestly. Yeah, he'll talk to a wall. But
I think people also appreciate like kind of a little bit of your curtailed approach.
Yeah,
like people can be like, I can be honest around Nick.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's something that usually at networking events, it's always like,
you're a little buttoned up.
Dot my I's and cross my T's.
Yeah, that's not how I want to be. Yeah.
But you attract a good organic following.
I appreciate that. That's cool because that's what I go for. Yeah, because that's who I am. That's kind of how my family is. That's definitely where I get it from. It's just like I believe in being yourself. Like,
sure,
you can be professional and be yourself. You don't have to always button up. But listen, I know how to read a room. If the room is saying I have to be professional and buttoned up, I can. But I still know how to get the little extra punch. And,
of course. And
that's where I get business. When people are like, oh, you broke that line, that invisible line that no one else does. They're like, oh, I like
kind of like that. I trust that.
Yeah, they're like, oh, that's kind of cool, actually. Like,
and you've thrown in the past, the years that we've known each other, the events that you've been on the planning end. I won't forget that Ronald McDonald one at La Scala's Fire.
Yep.
You guys raised a ton of money.
Yeah.
You had an awesome raffle. Like I've been to events where like they raffle off stuff. You guys were what were you raffling off?
There was like a Gucci purse that came out of nowhere. Yeah. We had Phillies tickets. Maybe it was Eagles. I forget.
That was
a big painting, shoes.
You had very expensive, and it's not like I don't want to bring up like you don't have a successful event unless you raffle off these high price things. But I'm like, but that should stand as a point to your network, your connections, your ability to draw that type of crowd and put on that type of quality event.
I love it.
I
just love hosting events.
That goes down
That's
in
the
history.
Italian to me. Every time I got in a house in my life, whether I was renting or bought it, I'm always like, I need space to entertain.
That event at La Scala's Fire, the Ron McDonald goes down in my 3 years worth of networking is top three.
Really?
Top three. Well, Hall of Fame's probably up there in some of their events that they've thrown. Hall of Fame does a really good job.
They do.
Jesse and
I used to be a part of that. So I gave them a listen.
Jesse
when I was
and
there,
Jan do a great job.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, they're beasts.
250 people most, and they're always looking for bigger venues.
Yeah, they're stupid. I think they're the biggest thing in South Jersey for sure. I'm glad that's where I started because I've learned a lot. Santini is an absolute beast. I don't care what no one's really topping him, I think, in South Jersey. Just the way he operates. And you can attest to this because I think this is what you're good at too. His operations are insane. I'm not great at that. I'm a left brain guy. I'm very creative, great at networking. I can analyze, but like I would need you to run a company with me because I'm not going to do great at operations. That's not where I succeed.
I understand that. Yeah. I understand.
And that's where he's really good at. He's just
and that's where I click. That's where I click with him. And I'm proud to say they're one of our clients now.
Right.
So we assist them with their insurance. I appreciate our relationship. When they hired Fran though, Fran has been like a buddy of mine like through the networking world.
Right. Also a beast. Yeah.
So like they're adding quality. When I see a brand or a company adding quality, like agents or whatever, they're growing their team out and they're getting quality, then I know that they're doing the right thing.
You'll never not see quality for them. Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's just how he operates, man. First of all, if you're going to be called Hall of Fame, you better have some Hall of Fame.
Their name is their Hall of Fame because of they're all players. They play ball.
No, Santini did.
Yeah. Santini did?
Yeah, he was really good at basketball back in the day. So he actually went to Paul Six as well. He had a bunch of scoring records
Did
there.
he really?
Yeah, and then he
You guys
transferred.
are all connected. And then I met
the Politics Network.
that and WB
goes
Mason. That's that with
Yeah.
Brendan, or was that you? Everyone came from WB Mason in
Dude, the
some way.
PVI network. There's more people that go to PVI.
You
than
guys should do a
didn't realize.
PVI event.
I want to go there and like speak or something cool like that.
You should.
Shout out Chambers. When we were there, he was like
should.
second in command. Now he's the principal. And then one of my good friends is the AD there. So we're still very connected.
Do you know that was probably one of the more rewarding things? So my girlfriend Kelly, she's a special education teacher at Delran.
Oh, nice.
There was one day last year where I went there and I spoke to like 3 classes about like what we are, and also like one class was 8th grade. So I was like, when you get your license, here's kind of what you do when if God forbid you were getting an accident.
Right.
And I've given them like a basic rundown checklist. That was probably the most rewarding. I went home and I slept so happy.
That was cool.
It was so cool,
I want to do
man.
that too.
There was a Dolphins
Only
fan.
problem is I might get canceled immediately.
There was a Miami Dolphins fan sitting in the front court with a Tyreek
how
Hill
that happened
jersey.
again? Why
My
that's
love,
the most random thing ever.
my uncle. Yeah,
Uncle, okay.
My uncle brainwashed me as a
All right,
child.
that's a fair at least.
But he was like my best friend the entire day.
But you're Philly everything else or what?
Philly everything else except for
But
the
just
Dolphins.
randomly a Dolphins fan.
Everything Dolphins. You know, and we're approaching kind of like the end of the show. I just wanted to see if there's anything you wanted to bring up new in your life, or things that you're working on, or attract, a type of customer, client, friend, colleague, whatever.
Right.
I don't know.
I would say right now my main focus is lending. I've really enjoyed it. If you're in investing or you just want to be cool, I'll say this. Cool thing about us is we'll work with first-time investors. A lot of lenders will not. Obviously, you'll get charged more. You're a little bit more of a risk, but that's okay. If you run your numbers right, you're supposed to make good money. So I love doing the lending side. We can do anything in any state, I think, besides 4. Like my boss has a lot of clients in Texas, Florida, California. So like we can do properties anywhere. I'm loving it. I always want more houses. So if you're looking to sell a house or you're a wholesaler, send me deals. I definitely want to keep flipping. And keep me in mind if you have any just business ideas. If you want to start a business, if you want to sell a business, I'm actively looking to get into something, full time that like really can give me a day to day, and then I'll stay doing real estate as well too. But I'm probably starting a podcast soon too. I love this world. I kind of want to start like a little media company and kind of build. I see so many people around here in South Jersey that have a lot of talent. I think it'd be a pretty cool thing to have.
Love that.
And go out and vote.
Go out and vote.
Go out and vote.
And with a bang.
Coming soon. I don't care if you're left or right. I really don't. Just go out and vote.
Good message.
I've never realized. I used to be one of those people that was like, I always voted, obviously, but I used to be one of those people that was like, yeah, politicians don't affect your life. Like, live your life. It's all good. The last 4 years, they affect your life. And the 4 years before that, too. So, like, you need to pay attention. You don't need to be, like, super knowledgeable about it, sure, but, like, pay attention to your local. That's almost more important than federal. Pay attention to your state, and definitely vote for federal. Like, these things really affect us. It sucks that we have to say it, but, like, our generation mostly doesn't care. It's the truth. It really
I think
does
it's
suck.
very important you bring it to light, though.
We have to, yeah. I mean, like, if anyone didn't know, I took a stab at running for Congress for a couple months, and I will be running again.
Nice.
I just realized in a short amount of time that New Jersey politics, the way that it's set up, you need a lot of time to build yourself up, build your connections, get your fundraising going. So I knew running this year would have been kind of a waste of time, so I'm glad I backed out. But I learned the game.
I think initially, though, it got people to resonate, like Nick is now interested in this, at least.
Yeah.
So when it comes back.
And I got a lot of love from Brandon. I went to a bunch of speaking events and people were very intrigued by the 30-year-old with the rational thoughts. Yes, I'm Republican, but like I have a lot of left-leaning views. I'm very in the middle to a certain degree. And that's very good for Jersey politics because Jersey is a Democratic state.
Sure.
But like the Democrats we have here are like 1970s Democrats where they're like, they care about business. They just care about things socially. You go to like a California, the Democrats out there are way more leaning left than the ones here in Jersey. So you can be just a logical, rational person in New Jersey, like which most of us are. No one really leans super far right or left in New Jersey. A lot of us just lean a little right and a little left. I think PA is kind of like that too. Just look at the last election with Fetterman and Oz. It was like, what, 51-49? That just shows you have a state that's pretty in the middle-ish. And I think most Americans are like that. There's not what the media shows us, the extremists, that's a very small percentage of America. You know what I mean? Most of us just want to have a good economy and feel safe and have good schools and be able to retire at a decent age, like be able to maybe have a gun or two, protect yourself. Like seriously.
No, I'm with you.
Most people in this country, we're all in a similar mindset.
I think it's good to personally for me to know somebody like yourself who's actually bringing it to life and making it known as an important thing to go out and vote and do your part. So I think that's
and to my boomer thing earlier about them retiring and selling businesses. Well, these boomers run our country are all 80, 85, 90. They're going to be done soon, whether they want to or not. So we're up next. And if we're not going to pay attention or care, you should be a little scared about who's going to be running our country in the next 10 years. Like, we're all in our 28 to 30 range. 10 years, we're going to be 40. That's still, say we all live to 80. We still have another 40 years of life to go.
That's true.
And AI is getting stronger. Technology is getting crazier. Like, we need people that know what's going on in the modern America to be in charge. We just can't have that anymore. We need to pay attention and care because we are the future.
So this is a real edition of Remco Real Talk, and I appreciate you keeping it real, Nick. So 100%. We're going to wrap up here. We're going to make sure that we add your tags and your following pages and stuff. Best way to contact you is, I guess, through social.
Yeah, you can hit me up on Instagram. I believe it's Whitelock25. Facebook, just my full name, Nicholas Whitelock. I'm always on there. I'm always responding. Yeah. Feel free to reach out. I love chatting, networking. If you have any questions,
sounds good.
Let's get it.
Very prompt. Thanks for being on the show.
Oh no, thanks for having me.
Thanks for having me.
Is it my show now?
Who knows? I think it is.
Whitelock Real Talk?
I think you took it.
I think I just took the show from you.
All right, we're tuning out.